Alright. Now it's 7 months since Leeds became a Tory town, and what a rollercoaster it's been. On a personal level, I went from being a key worker to being furloughed, which is a bit depressing if I'm honest. And with the local hairdressers being shut due to coronavirus, I had to resort to my wife giving me a crop, but I think she did a pretty good job to be fair. The so-called lockdown's been slowly lifted, and things are starting to reopen, although the restrictions are going to hinder business. I mean, how many people are going to queue outside in pouring rain for 20 minutes for a chippy tea? I know I wouldn't. Anyway, the other week I was idling my time on Twitter when I noticed Lee was trending again because of this Guardian article. Imagine the state we'd be in if Corbyn had been in charge. The view from the Red Wall. Working class voters in Leeds do not regret voting for Tories after listening to Chancellor Summer's statement. The article was written by journalist Helen Pidd, who describes her lifestyle as bourgeoisie and thinks it's fun to dress up as Jeremy Corbyn at Halloween parties. Her sample of first-time working-class Tory voters consisted of a young school leaver who, because of her age, has obviously never worked full-time or even voted, a retired guy who has enough money to own a second holiday home, and finally, a local pizza restaurant owner. Now, I think most people would agree that's hardly a representative sample of Leeds' working class, seeing as the first three aren't even in the labour market, and the fourth's a business owner whose brother's a millionaire property developer. The teenager, to her credit, raised a valid point about house prices being too expensive, and she worried that her generation will have to pay back all the money being splashed about by the government. The retired guy's main reason for voting Tory were his concerns about immigration, the article pointing out that Lee is in fact 97% white, but seeing as the vast majority of immigrants in town are in fact white Eastern Europeans, I really don't see why they had to drop skin colour into the mix. That said, he did come across as a complete xenophobe with his comments about disease-ridden foreigners. Then finally, we have Andy Twentyman. The local pizza guy's quip about Corbyn was used by The Guardian as pure clickbait. Reporter Helen mentioned he was on the phone sourcing Andorra sausage for his pizzas when she arrived. Now call me uncultured, but I've never even heard of Andorra sausage before. I mean, I had to go on the internet just to find out how you pronounce it. Apparently, it's a spicy, spreadable salami from Italy. With Lee being a Tory town now, I'm expecting all sorts of new cosmopolitan delights to come our way. The fact that Andy reasoned we'd be worse off under a Corbyn government, a view I totally disagree with by the way, sent some left-wing zealots into a frenzy of outrage. The guy was ruthlessly hounded on social media, with dozens of spiteful people leaving negative fake reviews on his business pages as a punishment for him daring to have a different opinion. But there were still questions to be asked, like why did Helen Pidd use some of the very same people from Lee as a representative sample for another Guardian article only 6 weeks previously? And why was she tweeting positive reviews about Twentyman's pizzas in March? I'm also curious to know if Andy voted Labour in 2017 as the article leads you to believe, seeing as he obviously disliked Corbyn so much. To be honest, I think the whole article was an attempt for Liberals at The Guardian to have another kick at Corbyn disguised as journalism. There's no reason why Tory voters in Lee would have any regrets yet. Brexit's still on track and Tories are throwing money around. What's not to like in their eyes? Let's see what happens in the next 12 months before we start asking if there's any regrets. We're on the brink of a massive depression, and it looks like millions are going to lose their jobs. If that happens, then that'll be the time to ask the question. Now, I was going to finish my video by doing my own honest review of a Twentyman's pizza. I checked the website to see what time they were open, and I called round Wednesday dinner time. Unfortunately, for some reason it was shut, so I had to settle for a Dawson's pie instead. However, I do have a mate who's been there in the past, and he tells me the pizzas are bob on. Thanks for watching.